Hello everyone and welcome back to Minecraft Hardcore 1.8 where it's all over. It's all over. Even though, you know, if I die the world gets deleted and all that stuff, this is the final episode. In fact, actually, this is just a nice follow-up episode for you guys by request. There have been a reasonable number of requests from many of you for me to do, you know, basically a tour of the world or something, or just basically giving a little bit more closure than the conclusion that I created for the final episode, episode 24 of Minecraft Hardcore 1.8. And I'm just standing here in the compound, a very well-recognized view this is. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over everything that I've built in this series and everything that I've made and, you know, the adventures that I've had. But before I do that, I will point out that I am using a texture pack that I used previously in the Minecraft series, which is Chroma Hills. Chroma Hills is my favorite vanilla texture pack right now of everything that I've used up to this point, you know how it is. You can use a texture pack for a long time and then kind of get bored of it eventually. Well, that kind of happens with so many texture packs, but right now, and for a while now, Chroma Hills has been my favorite. You can find a link down in the description to get this yourself. And yeah, that's about it. So let's start off with the first building that I constructed. This is the spawn area. I published a before and after pic on Twitter about a week or two ago of what this place looks like at spawn, you know, whenever the world generates, and what it looks like now. And there's been a reasonable amount of change. But the first thing that I built was this small 9-block 3x3 hut shack. It was absolutely jam-packed, built in the first episode. I've only just now named it though. The entire series it hasn't had a name, but it is now called Bunkhouse 1 because it is the original house that I occupied in this game world. So there's that. That was something that I built in the first house. Second episode was predominantly mining, and the third episode I ended up I needed a larger space to live in than just this tiny little hut. Actually, I dug a mine, which is this place over here. I'm getting myself a little bit out of order, but I dug this particular mine right here, and it was just a hole, quite literally an open hole in the ground, until about, I'd say about a week ago or so. Basically, before I recorded the final episode, this house was built, but I had just built it whenever I recorded the final episode of the series. So I just put the house on top of it, but that was the original mine that I dug in the second episode. And then, because I needed more storage space and whatnot, I built the fishing shack, which took me a long time to actually name it, but it's called the Hook and Line, because it's right on the pond, and as you can see, there's a large dock out back that I made. Also dug up a whole bunch of clay and sand out of the pond out back. This is really not a lake. I'd like to call it a lake, but it's so shallow, it doesn't really warrant that type of description. But I like this place. I've done a lot of fishing. Don't actually have any fishing rods inside of the fishing shack anymore because I put them inside of the armory, which doesn't really make all that much sense. But this is the primary storage facility for the entire compound. This is the heart, or the main artery, if you will, because this is where I'm storing tons of stuff. I have a basic organization system, you know, wood-based products, logs, planks, fences, saplings go in this chest. Miscellaneous tools and building materials, glass, banners, books, saddles, comparators, repeaters, ladders, etc. They all go in here. I've also got a chest over here for organic stuff that you harvest out of the world, and over here, organic stuff that drops off of mobs. And then there's the dirt and sand chest, followed by the minerals and ore chest. As you can see, I've still got a lot of iron and gold and diamonds and whatnot. Only thing that I'm really short on is emeralds, and that's because emeralds are actually pretty rare. Excuse me. Emeralds only spawn in 1-block veins, and they only spawn out in the extreme hill biomes, which, despite how much mining I've done in extreme hill biomes, which, by the way, there are a ton of mines all over the place in this world, despite all of the mining that I've done in extreme hill biomes, I haven't managed to gain that many emeralds, only enough for the monument that I built, which we'll get to soon enough. But after I went and built the fishing shack, I realized that I needed a place to store loads and loads of stone because there's not enough storage in there for stone, and I needed a place to process and smelt stone. So I built this, the Sword and Smith, which I really, really like this place because of the way that I built it. I haven't really done a whole lot of buildings with the sandstone-stone combination, and I was kind of going against the grain of what I typically do with the cobblestone roof there. So that's something a little bit unusual that I do. But this place is, where I store lots of cobblestone, as well as smelted smooth stone, granite, andesite, and diorite. These have been, a big, big push to why I wanted to play 1.8 at all. The fact that these 3 brand new stone types were introduced. And this is also where I put my anvil, and it's also, nether brick and whatnot. Extra miscellaneous storage. Also got clay and some of the more exotic stones, obsidian, quartz, prismarine from some of the temples. Also got some end stone in here that I gathered up. There's also these this patented dual smelting system. Now, I described this in the episode where I put this together, I think, but there's a penalty for using the hopper system to extract finished product from these furnaces and put them into a chest down below. Whenever you take finished product out of a furnace, you get a little bit of experience. Now, cobblestone, smelting that into smooth stone, I think that's the lowest level of experience gain that you're going to get from smelting stuff. So ultimately, I made the decision that, hoppers, losing the experience from that is completely acceptable, and I care more about automation. And this entire system has been fueled by nothing but lava from the very beginning. Yeah, I've got extra buckets of lava here. And actually, since I'm not about to do any particularly large smelting jobs, I'm going to go and fill up the downstairs, because far later in the series, I went and dug myself a basement here. This was not originally part of the smith, but I dug this basement with the express purpose of being able to store lava down here for time periods whenever I would have a lot to do. One of the frequent things that I would do, because of how long smelting takes, is I would, after playing the game and just doing some general mining and coming up with a load of stone, I would just fill up the hoppers on top with cobblestone, pop some buckets of lava in, and just kind of tab out of the program and do something a little bit more important. So it became kind of important for me to be able to, just kind of tab back in and keep the process going. And to service that, so I wouldn't have to run down to the mines over and over, I built this basement where I could store lava and just grab some lava whenever I needed it. So there's something. So I could continuously tab out and keep it open in the background without actually having to come back and play the game and subsequently get myself lost in the game whenever I should be working. So there's the smith. After I finished the smith, I came around to this side and decided to build this library, which I didn't name right off, but it is called Laurel's Loose Leaf Library, or just as I call it, the Loose Leaf. So I like the way that this place turned out. I was aiming to make as much of a combination of different stones as possible, so I used andesite, oak, birch, stone, and I think it turned out pretty cozy. It could be a bit more cozy if I had, say, put carpeting in here. Also, got 2 enchanting tables for the whole process here. And for you to access the maximum level enchantments, level 30 enchantments, you have to have a total of, I think, 15 bookshelves. And this one, I believe, is set up to have 16, just there's one single extra bookshelf on it. So this design maxes out the capabilities of a enchanting altar, so that's a bonus. It's really, really awesome. And I put 2 of them in just for symmetry's sake, but in all honesty, I've only ever used this one. And for that matter, I was level 60 something whenever I finished the defeating the Ender Dragon, and I offloaded all of my enchants onto books because I just wanted to offload the experience so I could start leveling up better. But my word, talk about a lot of different enchantments sitting on the books here. And also got some lapis lazuli here to, fuel the enchanting process, because that's something they introduced in 1.8, the need to use lapis for enchanting. which is one of the biggest, best things that they did in 1.8, completely revamping the enchanting system. But that's the library. After I did that, the following episode, I came into the middle of town and I realized that I needed to make something like a square. I needed to make a center point to build out from, to know, you know, what the middle would be and how far out to go from it. And to that end, I looked at the 2 front doors that I had built on the fishing shack and the 2 front doors I had made on the library, and I just kind of traced the lines straight through and found where they met. So I built the fountain right where the 2 doors met, and I built this square, and the goal was kind of to make an outdoor use of the 3 new stones, the granite, the diorite, and the andesite, and also to make use of mossy stone, because you can craft this stuff now by combining vines with cobblestone to make mossy stone. So that was something. The lighting came in later. This was originally completely lit up by torches. In addition, I didn't originally have glowstone in the middle. Those were stone walls in the middle of the fountain originally. But after I finished the library, oh, that's right. In the middle of in the same episode that I built this square, I also went out to find vines to make these, and in the process, I went over yonder, I think it's over that way, over a hill, and I found a swamp on the other side of which, well, there were vines in the swamp, but on the other side of the swamp, I managed to see these dark oak wood trees, so I found a roofed forest, and I brought these back, and I really like this kind of shaded grove tunnel type thing that I got going over here, so that's something that I did in the episode where I built the square. After that, I had to establish a much more reliable farm than the few little plants that are over there next to the fishing shack. So I built this large redstone-operated farm that's centered around the way that water flows at its maximum, which it looks like the farm has been harvested and I never replanted. But as you can see, this is a very large area. This dispenser up here is redstone controlled. It dispenses water. The water flows out and it carries the crops down into the trench, and the trench is specifically designed so that all of the crop will go around and carry down to the front where there's a hopper. It picks up all of the vegetation and deposits it into a chest up front. So this is a water and redstone operated farm. It's not the absolute most efficient. I have, I mean, there are far more basic designs for farms that I prefer to use, in all honesty, but this is a reasonably interesting build, and I didn't want to basically recreate a basic farm, which I've built before on several occasions. So this was something that I prototyped in a creative world a while ago. That being said, not my idea, this particular farm design. It was something that I remember seeing on YouTube ages and ages ago, just the basic idea that you can build an entire farm around the maximum flow distance of water. So, you know, that's a thing. So, after I finished the farm there, I had to go to the nether, which meant that I needed a place to put a nether portal, and I was kind of sick of putting the nether portal underground. I like to build a house for it, so I went and I built this little shack out here back behind the other buildings, not that far away, and built this nether portal, and I had a big long adventure in there. Did a whole lot of, you know, chunk mining, as it were, to gather up lots of nether brick, netherrack to make nether brick, etc. You know, and in that nether episode, I went through the trouble of gathering gas tiers, blaze rods, magma cream, nether wart, and soul sand so that I could have all the materials to build this place, which is Detox Tonics, a cafe or bar, and this is a place that I'm also quite happy with the way that it turned out. I ended up putting some vines on it in the end to make it look a little bit more rustic, but I like what I basically did with the foundation here. You can quite clearly tell where the inside of the building is based on where the nether brick is, and where the foundation lies based on where the cobblestone is. So that's something that I quite like. And inside, I did a job of decorating the place. It's got a bunch of nice little tables for patrons to sit down, a nice big skylight, and a nice board across the counter or bar where you can see all of the things that are on sale. There's a hidden chest below underneath some inverted stairs with all of the supplies required to use the brewing stand and back, and a infinite supply of water right back here, along with a cauldron, because, well, actually, you know, cauldrons are pretty much useless in Minecraft these days. They have very, very existential value, so... after I finished the bar, I ended up building the pens in the same episode, I believe, where, I mean, the pens, there's not a whole lot to say about these pens. I built the pens, and then I built leads. I crafted leads to bring the livestock back. So I've got rabbits and pigs on the other side, a little bit lower, and then you can see the bovines, the chickens, and the sheep here as well. So you know, that's something that I did in that episode. After that, I had this big problem with not having access to, well, in 1.7, or maybe it is in 1.8 here, I don't remember which, they introduced new biome generation that takes into account temperature, okay? So, in the new biome generation, as opposed to the way it used to work previously, you'll never get a desert right next to, say, a tundra. So you'll never get snow next to a desert or something like that. It's dependent on temperature, and it's supposed to, you know, gradually transition between each other. And I'm sitting in the middle of a plains biome, you know, with surrounded by forests and basically extreme hills or mountain biomes. So as a result, I don't really have access to high temperature biomes, so I had to go out exploring, and I went and I built these I crafted these maps and did the exploring of the general area to try and find myself like a desert or a savanna biome or something. And I did end up finding a desert and a savanna so that I could bring back all of these acacia trees and also gather up cactus so I could have green dye. Not that I ever used it, but I wanted it just to have it, because you know, you gotta be thinking about these things in the long run. So I came back with these acacia trees, and you can see they're all over the compound. I like the way that acacia trees look. I like their leaned-over style. But after I came back with the acacia trees, I also came back with these cacti. And this is a redstone-operated cactus farm. It's got a whole bunch of pistons underneath it. A lot of people made a point to me that I used too many pistons on this, and it's true. I could have made this with just 4 pistons. Instead, I made it with like 16 pistons, which is a bit of a waste of resources, but it's pretty simple. If you break the bottom block on any cactus, everything above it will also break, so that's the way that it works. It's a nice system. I like the way that it works, you know, even though it's a bit wasteful. I'll definitely build it the more economic way the next time that I build this, if I ever rebuild this again. But yeah, that's something that I built in an episode. But after finishing the cactus farm, I decided that it was time to move across this pond, because I had been looking at this pond over here and thinking, there's something here that I can do. There's got to be something here that I can do. And I put some jack-o'-lanterns underwater, as you can see there. So I decided, you know what, I need a mansion, I need a proper place to call home. And I built this bridge. I've gotten some critiques about the bridge. Some people don't really like the way that it looks, but well, it is what it is. It is a bit slapdash. It's not terribly congruent, I'll admit, but, you know, it works, and I'm not about to change it. But I came across, and in the course of 2 episodes, I built this Chateau Strife, and it also signed the beginning of House Strife and the banner of Strife, this black and gray gradient banner with the like the red burst design on it. I changed the porch ultimately. The front porch did not look like this originally, but I ended up putting these inverted stairs with the flower pots down. It's 2 floors, well, actually 3 technically. There's the ground floor, and then there's up here, the second floor. I put some sea lanterns in from whenever I visited from some of my adventures. These are actually particularly difficult to get your hands on. And I've also got an attic with ample storage up here. I've also got a bed up here. Oh, wow. Check out that sunrise. So beautiful. I've got some ventilation up here. Got a very condensed version of the symbol of House Strife up there. So, yeah, this I really like the way that the chateau turned out. Even though, I'll admit, I have not used this place at all, which is a actual crime and shame, because it's so nice and I put so much work into this place. But this building was particularly designed to be expanded onto. So you can see that there's, you know, the whole double door type system still in place here. There's space for doors to go back here. There's space for doors on either side. There's space for, you know, doors on the second floor there, so you can get out to other rooms and whatnot. So this place was fully designed. And there's also space for a door back here. This place was fully designed for me to be able to add wings onto it, but ultimately I felt that it was kind of pointless, given that I was going with a large compound design as opposed to like putting everything inside of a single building. So even though this place is more or less set dressing, or just, you know, set itself, I like the way that it turned out, even though it doesn't have an inherent amount of use. But, you know, there you go. That's something else. After I did the Chateau, I headed out to the water temple. The nether portal, there's a particular feature of Minecraft. For every 8 blocks of distance you travel in the overworld, you travel 1 block of distance in the nether, and it is perfectly mirrored. It's a 1-to-1 mirror. It's a 1-to-8 mirror. So if you travel 8 blocks west in the overworld, you travel 1 block west in the nether. So what I did was I went to the nether and I built a highway, and I moved out, you know, like some 200 blocks or so, and I built another portal and left, which means that, you know, 200 times 8 is, you know, 1,600 blocks. So 1,600 blocks out, I think in that direction, is a small out base where that just so happened to spawn right on top of an island in the ocean. And from there, I went out and I found a water temple, and I made an entire adventure out of defeating a water temple after gross amounts of preparation, you know, with potions and enchanting and whatnot. And I brought back the spoils of it. I didn't really use many of the spoils. There was a lot of gold. You saw the sea lanterns inside of House Strife there. But that was something that I did. And after I came back from the water temple, I decided it was finally time to go into the take on the wither. So I went into the nether and collected enough wither skulls to summon the wither. You build a T-shape of soul sand and then place 3 wither skulls on top, and you summon the wither. I defeated the wither, took the nether star that it drops, and built this monument right here. And the nether, the beacon that I built with the nether star is the difficult. It's difficult enough to build, but this monument here was a really big centerpiece that I was aiming for a long time in the series, because it's really expensive and difficult to build. This thing is solid. It has to be made out of, you know, pure metals. And because I don't like, you know, just the plain basic, you know, built out of one material design of some of these pyramids, I build it like this with the gold leading up the edges and then emerald and diamond on the sides. Most of it is composed of iron, though. And for that matter, I'll point out that these pyramids, these monuments, they can be... The beacon will work on its own, but if you put it on a, you know, this first level of material right here, it gets a little bit more powerful, and then it gets more powerful if you add this level, and more powerful if you add this level, and it just goes up to 4 levels to reach its maximum power. If I right-click here, you can see that the secondary powers are active because of the monument that's built on. But this thing was a really big achievement for me, because that's a lot of ores to gather. Any of you who have played Minecraft legitimately without, you know, cheating or spawning anything in, know that this was a lot of work, because I didn't cheat or spawn anything in. That's a big point of this entire series. So anyways, that's that was what I did in the Wither episode. I built the monument, killed the Wither and built the monument. And then after that, I was kind of taxed, and I was looking... Like, this was supposed to be an endgame thing, but I still wanted the series to continue. I knew that there was more that I could do. And part of figuring out how much longer the series would last consisted of figuring out where the boundaries of the compound would be. Up to the point of building this, I didn't have any proper defenses, and this thing is expensive, so I decided it was time to build a wall. And whenever I went to build the wall, I realized I had to figure out what the boundaries of the compound were. And I didn't build the whole wall on camera. So whenever I did finally get the whole wall up and together, something became very, very clear to me, and it was the limits of where I could build, and, well, build safe. And whenever the wall came out over here, because this side of the compound was pretty pretty rough. The terrain wasn't exactly ideal for building on. Just working with the land itself wouldn't be easy. So when I built the wall across over here, I realized what the limits were and how much more building I could do before the series would be over. So after I built the wall, I realized that I had a defined limit to this side of the compound. So I came over and I built the cake and cookie because I was running out of space in the fishing shack for storage, and the cake and cookie was basically a place that I could put all of the foodstuffs that I was overflowing on. And most of that stuff is in this chest right here. Not all of it is consumable, some of it just ingredients. I've also got eggs over here, and a spare chest that's completely empty. But this place turned out well. It's a very simple one. This building is also the first time, it marked the first time that I started using coal blocks as a form of building material, because whenever you have a pickaxe right here with the fortune enchant, which, you know, just increases the amount of items that drop, like redstone, lapis, diamonds, and coal, because those don't drop as blocks, they drop as like entities on the floor. It just increases the amount of coal that you pick up, and I've got stupid large numbers of blocks of coal sitting around, and as a result, you know, just lots and lots and lots of this. Just since I've got lots of blocks of coal, I decided, you know what, let's start building with this stuff. So that was the cake and cookie, and after I built the bakery right here, I decided to come across the compound, and I had been putting paths in the whole time. I decided that it was time to put, you know, more proper lighting in, because the place was starting to seriously flesh out. So I came through and built this underground lighting system in front of the garden over here, and ultimately decided on this segmented, more independent design lamp posts with daylight sensors up on the top. And the reason why these particular lamp posts became possible is because daylight sensors, previously they only had one setting, they could sense daylight. With 1.8 they have a secondary feature where you can switch them to sense whether or not it's night. So you can basically invert the sensors in 1.8, and they'll emit a signal if there's a lack of light. Previously they would only emit a signal if there was light. So that was something. And after I put the lighting system in and this particular path, I realized I had an epiphany whenever I was trying to figure out the next episode, and I realized I should offload all of my military equipment into one building. And this design just kind of came to me, and I built this, you know, pseudo castle. It's a little castle. It's supposed to look like a storefront, but this is the coat of arms, and this is where all of my my equipment is. I'm making use of the new armor stands in 1.8, and there's a whole lot of golden armor that I got off of pigmen in the nether whenever I was mining there for hours on end. So, and, you know, weapons on the walls. This place is supposed to look opulent and really nice, and I quite like the way that it works, but this was also the first time that I used redstone and coal to make the sign of House Strife, so that was a thing. And then right after I finished this, I turned around the next week and did a little bit of terraforming on this side, had to cut into a hill and create a retention wall back there. A big goal of this series was to make a well, a big goal of this series was to work with the land and not do too much terraforming, but with this one I just had to, because I wanted to build a cathedral to the religion of Strife, or the Cathedral of Strife in this case. Solutions even in your darkest hour. I quite like the way that this place turned out. It's got a real nice vibe to it, you know, the rafters across the top, the properly designed roof, the stained glass windows along the walls, and the contrast that I created with these diorite support beams. But this place nearly broke the bank as far as supplies went for building, so I'm really proud of this place. If there's any building that I'm going to replicate somewhere else or build again, it's probably going to be this particular cathedral, because I absolutely just love the way that it looks. And this was not a very well planned build. I just kind of had to work on it as I was going. And for that reason, it was actually a pretty big challenge to build this the week that I had to build it. But after I built the cathedral, I was kind of running out of things to do, and I was looking for the right opportunity to end the series. And I had already figured out what to do for the ending of the series, but I still had space to fill before I would reach episode 24, because I had made the decision to make it 24 episodes long, basically from the outset of the series. And because, due to viewer request, I decided to actually start to go out and get my hands on horses. I don't really care for horses. I find them to be a little bit cumbersome and more, just too much trouble for their worth. But I came over here and I built this barn, and I don't really know that the barn worked, but I built it, and it's okay. It works. One fantastic thing that came out of building this barn, though, is that I had to create a higher gate that the horses would be able to get through, and that's how I came up with this particular gate design, which I've used around the compound. And I like the way that it looks. I quite like the way that it looks. Works well. Yeah, there's not much to say there. So with the barn built, it was time for me to prepare for the end of the series, and a lot of people were saying that I needed a trophy room. So I came over to the other side of the compound, and at this point, I was, everything basically looks the way that it looks right now. But there was this one particular area where there was nothing that I thought I could still use, and it was this right here. But I thought to myself, this isn't really a whole lot of room for a trophy room. Oh, before I get to this trophy room, I'll point out, this used to be a mine, just an open mine that was sitting in the middle of the forest, and I decided to secure it. I dug this ages ago, but I secured it by building a shack on top of it, so any of you who are curious, this is just a really opulent entrance to a mine because I was interested in building something a little bit different, so... but anyways, I built this shack, and I thought, this really isn't enough space for a proper trophy room. So what I did was I built a relatively opulent shack up on the top here with the symbol of House Strife over and over again. And I built it with a sandstone roof because I wanted to do something a little bit different. And this is the Vault of Strife, Chronicles of the Legend. Put some lighting out front along with lots of red flowers, which is important. And then the basic idea was to create a small entrance on top. You've got a stained glass window. Yeah, but the idea was to put a small entrance on top and then put an enormous vault down at the bottom. So you hit the button and you fall into this water down here to break your fall, and you come into the Vault of Strife. And I ran into one of the original mines that I dug for this world. Actually, I ran into the original mine I dug whenever digging this, so it was easier than I thought it would be, even though it took quite a bit of time. Now, from the time that I did the episode for this, I put some extra lighting in here with, this kind of alcove lighting going on in the back. And I've also put a door in for the opposite side to get out. I didn't make the maximum number of alcoves because I ran out of ideas for what to put into these places. But there are alcoves over here defining, my various achievements throughout the series. And I've also put descriptions on signboards. I'm not going to go ahead and read them for you guys because something very particular that is going to make a reasonable number of you guys happy is the fact that I am going to publish this map now. I'm going to publish this map, and I'm going to make... there's a download in the description below. You guys can go ahead and download it, install it to your world's file. I'm not going to explain how to do that for you guys because I'm not really interested in doing, the whole, this is how you install world data. If you're really, really interested, you can, there are all sorts of resources out there on the internet how to extract and save your world data in Minecraft. So that's it. That's the tour of the Strife compound. I'm going to publish the map. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for watching the entire series. It's been fantastic. This world is done for me. I'm going to move on and do something else. Take a break from Minecraft now, and who knows where I will go from here. But thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the series. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I certainly hope that you guys enjoy looking around the world yourself. And before I go, one last thing. If you play on console, sorry, but the world data is PC exclusive. But not that I want to end on a low note, but still, it is what it is. But thank you for watching. Thanks for watching the series, and have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys in another series another time. Bye!